our website and different platforms. You're right to go, Rollie.
So welcome everyone to our very first
Our website and different platforms.
Okay. We have a little bit of feedback there. So welcome to our first of this year's sacred through sacred use wisdom circles. And so tonight we're going to be talking about ancient wisdom. And so we're going to be talking about moon medicine for modern hearts. And so I am Gigado Migun which means talking feather woman, and I am from a small community in northeastern Ontario, Canada, and really excited to be able to host this this beautiful circle, that wisdom circle that we actually get to start for the first time this year. So I'm super excited that we are here. Our theme for this year is ancient wisdom rising, but the theme for tonight is that we're going to begin building the foundation. So we're going to be talking about building foundations and having a beautiful conversation. So today we are there are 5 of us that are here, that we get to have this beautiful conversation, and I'm going to allow everyone to have a chance to introduce themselves before we actually get started on the topic for tonight. So Denise, do you want to get started? Do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, Denise here. Lovely to be part of this today and the first one for the year. How cool is that? Yes, I live in the border of New South Wales and Victoria, Australia, and very warm here at this time. And I support and help people move through their trauma that's holding them back. So helping them to see the true essence of themselves and helping them, I give them actually all my tools to be able to navigate who they are, because to me the importance is actually coming back to ourselves and knowing ourselves and living through ourselves instead of the rest of the world. And when we do that, we get to expand ourselves and the world around us changes, and we impart that onto everybody else as well. So, yeah, so grateful. And I don't know a lot about the moon and cycles, but I am learning them, which is awesome. And yeah, I tend to just follow the rhythm. And I know I'm noticing the moon a lot more. So I'm really noticing the rhythm on how that affects me and everything around me. So, yeah, so awesome to be here.
Beautiful. Thanks so much, Denise. And Fanny, do you want to share?
Yeah, thank you. I'm Fanny. I am the founder of the Radical Love Movement, and I live in Denver, Colorado. I am a big time body nerd, and what I do is I bring people home to the truth of their being through their bodies. So I educate people about how their bodies actually work, a lot of movement stuff through the new science of biotensegrity, and then I use alchemy primarily and training to get people to live their soul essence. Yeah, it's not all that dissimilar to Denise, it sounds like. Which is the most profound thing that you can do, is come home to yourself and then live your truth in the world. And that truth is unique to you, as unique as your body is. Would you imagine that? Anyways, excited to be here. Just curious about where this conversation goes. So also, I love the moon, all things about it.
Beautiful. Thanks, Fanny. And Hanya?
Hi everyone, so my name is Hania. So I'm a content creator, model, and a public speaker from Brampton, Ontario, Canada. So my pronouns are she and her. So when it comes to ancient wisdom, so because there's gonna be Ramadan, it's gonna be happening in February. We believe that full moon is one of the signs of it, and full moon is also known for harvesting. And I believe in ancient wisdom and all of these kind of things a lot, as it helps me heal and feel towards my goals, like for a personal life or for a professional life. So I'm going to see how this conversation goes.
Beautiful. Thank you. And Anick?
Unmute button. Here we go. Hello, everyone. What a joy to be with you today. I'm Anick Patry. I'm based in Australia, yet I'm French Canadian, and I am a fan of truly believing in the power of nature, following our cycle, following nature to manifest our heart's desires. My role on this planet is I'm the founder of the Voice Alchemist movement, and I empower and help conscious leaders to embody their own creative power and to own their voice so that they can share their message, be paid for what they truly here to do. And yeah, we're together we rise. So I have a 4 days visibility challenge this week. I'm really excited in the Voice Alchemist Facebook group, and it's going to be magical. And thank you for having me today. And I'm excited to see what wisdom we're going to share and transmute. And yeah, going to be fun.
Well, I love that. And so it is super, super important for us to be able to kind of tap into that energy that we have that's already there. And that's one of the things that I've heard from many of you is like the cycles and how things are connected. And so Denise, you said that you don't have a lot of knowledge around the moon. Well, that's good because the things that you actually bring to the table is also part of that. So moon medicine for me is not just the energy that comes with the phases of the moon. It's also about the cycles and about how things impact our body and energy work and crystals and essential oils and voicing and voices and all those different things that bring things to the table as to how it actually gets to impact us. And so I love these conversations because I love the fact that we can actually just have a conversation and not worry about how these things impact. And so, or like not have the exact knowledge, because that is one of the things that we actually get to share with each other, is we get to bring our own areas of expertise. We get to bring our own experiences that allows us to be able to have these conversations. So so one of the things is this ancient wisdom rising. So one of the things that I have seen over the years is that we are finding more and more pathways that are actually leading into some of the things that have been going on for centuries and centuries. And so I know that for us, things have actually kind of like come to a still, and anybody who was doing anything kind of woo, people would say like, oh my gosh, like there must be like some devilish stuff going on over there. And so like now we actually get to learn more about like what does our bodies represent and how do our bodies feel things. And so my background in social work and social services work, working with addictions and mental health over the years, one of the things is that people would come in with body pain and different things that would be happening that could not be explained based um, on the medical parts of things. And so I was the weird counselor person that they would often send the clients to when they had things that were like just not able to be explained. And so so because I worked with the medical team, and one of the things that so we had a nurse practitioner who had come up and said to a client who was not able to walk. She just all of a sudden wasn't able to walk. She had some difficulties with being able to walk, but they had like nothing from a medical standpoint as to why it is that she was able to do that. One session of having a conversation about what is it that's going on, what's happening with your body. Let's talk about some of the things that were going on. And it turned out that her inability to walk was based on the fact that she was feeling completely unsupported. And so when we actually talked about how she was able to like find her own ways of being able to be supported and have her own ways of being able to connect, she was then not having any of those issues with her legs anymore, and she was able to move ahead and move forward. And so Fanny and Denise, you guys both talk about body work and that connection, so like that is like definitely right up your alley around that conversation. But these things come from those that ancient wisdom, that connection of where it is that we have going through. And it uses her voice, and Hanya has a lot of ways of that she's actually brought these things forward in her life. Anya?
So I have one thing to say. So if you look at the media example, if you look at movies like Twilight, Harry Potter, or even anime like Sailor Moon, and I think some other shows, they're all related to the moon. So pretty much you can see that in Avatar as well, The Last Airbender. So I don't know about the recent shows, but I remember those ones from growing up. So you could see it in there. That those are like visuals that are already given to us that when if we don't see it applying, like to everyone like practically, but you notice that later on as you get older that there's a connection with that. There's also a little connection to media as well. And yeah, like even for like Marvel movies, I think that there's also Avengers. You could see the moon rising and all of that to do with the planets in there as well. So there's a huge connection with media in this.
Yep. And I love that. I love how you actually were able to put that together, because that is something that oftentimes we forget, that these things are there and they've been there for a long time, but they just kind of sit in the sidelines. But one of the things around the ancient wisdom rising is that we're actually seeing where it's actually coming forward more, that it's more prevalent in people's lives. And so one of the things that I want to be able to ask around to be able to start off this conversation and start off this discussion is, what foundations, what does foundation mean in your healing practice? So, Anik, I'm going to start with you. So, what does foundation mean in your healing practice?
With me? Okay,
No, Anik.
so when
No, Anik.
oh, okay, okay.
Okay, I don't understand your question,
So,
Rosie.
so we're talking about foundations. So the theme for this, and actually you might have missed that, Anik, when we first came on. Our conversation, or our theme for this particular conversation, is building the foundation. So we're starting off the new year. We're starting off with this very first ancient wisdom rising wisdom circle. And so like this is our first one, and so it's about building that foundation with where things are. So what does foundation mean in your healing practice? So what's the foundation of where things start?
In my business.
Yeah, well, and in your healing practice. So with it's your own healing practice, or that with you do, and I know that you, for you, that it's both, right? So it's for your clients and for yourself. So what does that foundation mean for you in your healing practice?
Okay, I'm just going to go with what's coming because it's still not 100% clear of, I'm not sure where you want to take this, but anyway, I'm going to go with what I'm receiving from spirit, allowing inspiration to flow through me as a vessel at service. So the foundation for me is, in my work with the Voice Alchemist movement, is really about, well, we've got our 7 energy centers. So we're starting with the grounding, like to be really grounded on the earth. So to be able to manifest anything into the physical reality, such as our businesses and the transformational work that we provide, you need to have everything in place. So in my work, there's 5 pillars. So it starts basically with self-inquiry. So the questioning, they're like, okay, where I'm at. It's the beginning of the year. So what are my desires? What is my vision for 2026? What does my soul truly desire to create in 2026? To express, to create, to bring into the world, with the money figures, with the programs, with the outcome of the transformational work that you're here to contribute, to offer. So it starts with self-inquiry, and then we move into the self-care part, because if you don't take care of yourself, if you don't have all your needs met, it's very difficult to thrive and to create anything, to express the truth of your message. And then we move into the self-love, which is not a washy-washy, bubble bath kind of space, but rather a self-knowing, a self-appreciating of our humanity, of our shadows, and of our divinity, of our full power and our full grace. And then we go up into self-leadership. So, you got to You got to be someone who make decisions as a business owner and take actions and deliver, your promises, what you're promising to your client, to be able to deliver, to hold space in a sacred manner, and in a also a productive and efficient manner. And then we are going to the fullness of our self-expression, what we're here to transmute, to transmit, to offer. What is the truth of our magic, our medicine, and our message? What are we here to fully express in this lifetime? And it's under the umbrella of an intuitive creativity, because we're creators. We're constantly creating. We're creating this panel here today. We haven't rehearsed it. We're here. We're showing up. We allow spirit to speak through us. So I guess this is the pillars, the foundation of the voice alchemist, to be able to create, express the truth of our magic and medicine and message. If that makes any sense to you, that's what's coming through, and that's the truth. Actually, that's the foundation. That's the foundational work of what Anick Patry is here to transmit in this lifetime.
And I love that, Anick. So I love that because you're like, I still don't quite know what it is, but I'm just going to listen to spirit, and I'm just going to move through and figure out. And that again is about being able to listen to those ancient voices, those ancient wisdom, that information that's coming through. And that is exactly what the question was. It was like, what is your foundation in your healing journey?
Yeah, well, I know
And
my foundation. It was just that my brain was not clicking with your question, but it's actually the foundation of the work that I've been, developing for the last 20 years or so. So yeah, that's the foundation. Yeah. Mm.
I
There
love
you
it.
go.
Thank
There
you.
you go.
You listened to spirit, and he answered.
That's
Here,
it. That's
here's the
it.
thing, right? So Fanny, what about you? What is your foundation to your healing practice? So how does that fit for you?
I feel like there's going to be a lot of echoing going on this panel, but for me, the foundation is awareness, because awareness is the thing that gives us choice. I'm also very much of the orientation that we are creators, and we create every experience and outcome we have in our lives. And I use the body to hone the ability to become aware, to hold your attention somewhere, to become aware of things that you weren't before. And the body not just as like your physical form, because all aspects of your consciousness exist in and throughout your body. So the foundation for me is, in my work that I do, is awareness, anchoring into the body, and also anchoring people into their intuition, into their direct inherent connection to everything through all time and space. Spirit is also my favorite word for that. But whatever word tickles your fancy, if you're a God person or a universe person or the one person, like whatever. But I think for real healing, for you to really take ownership of your life, you have to first become aware of all aspects of yourself. And then the next step is like learning that you have a choice, that you can choose either your dysfunctional patterning that runs on default, that was your foundational, like talk about foundations, like all of our egoic orientations are the foundation of what we make up to be true about reality, right? And then once you learn that that's not who you are, but the program that you run, then you gain the choice to be your heart in the world. And it's a wild journey. It's a journey of awareness and unwinding and choice and connection. And I do it all. It's the body. It's just like, if you can be here in your sensations and feel your feet on the ground, you're present. Okay, great. You're present. Now you have a doorway to that inherent connection. Now you have a doorway to your intuition, to your heart, to the truth of who you are. So simply, I'd say, awareness in your body.
Beautiful. Thanks so much, Fanny. Hanya, what about you?
So with me, when it comes to healing, so what I do is so in every 3 weeks, this happens to me every month, that where I'm really stressed and I have a lot of deadlines or a lot of goal setting to do for work, school, whatever, personal life, professional life. So I always just like pray loudly. So what I do is I read like I do the like read the how do you say it, the script and everything in there, like the the verses. But thing is, I also like say out loudly that what I need, and I use this technique which another artist actually showed me, that if you pray and say it loudly, that that to God to give you a sign or give you something to show you the next step, it actually happened. And it's actually happened to me about 3 4 times constantly in the last year, where I've just been redirected. And the strange thing is, the biggest thing was, so I have the story. So September 6th, 2025 was a Brampton Fashion Week audition. I couldn't go for that day because I didn't have proper sleep. My mom couldn't drive me there. June 12th, I believe, not December, I mean June 12th, 2025, I got an email from the place where I volunteered recently that I'm going to be walking in the Brampton City Hall for a fashion show. It was a complete redirection that week, and it was like a miracle. The second miracle was that I was actually applying for a reality show, but that reality show cost about 2,000 just to get in. So the same exact week, I got accepted into a cooking show, which is very related to what I do as a food blogger, and it just happened instantly. And I just happened to be in my own next level of my career. So in terms of my professional development, I went ahead. So I felt like I improved from my last thing I did, from my last project I worked on. And it's like the more prayers you do, the more healing you find, and the more loudly you pray. That I usually do when I'm home alone. It actually works. You see the constant messages, and it makes you feel healed. It makes you feel a meditation. It makes you feel all those things in there, no matter which way is your way to pray.
Beautiful. And Denise, what about you?
For me, connection comes to what I feel, and it's about real self-connection, foundation, building my foundation on my self-connection, because this is where I live from, this is where I work from, this is my being will manifest into whatever I choose to do in my life. And it's, to me, connection, if I'm connected to everything, I'm the source of everything. So it's really allowing myself to feel. To me, it's feeling everything, because as Fanny, is it? Sorry if I said it.
Fanny.
Fanny.
Yeah.
Yeah. As you said, feeling in our body, everything is connected. We are connected to ourselves, we're connected to the universe, and we expand out extremely widely. So who I am here and now expands out to the rest of the world. And we don't think everyone feels us, but they do. And, when they talk about collective consciousness, collective, the good and the bad. So we have all those parts in us as well. So it's around connecting to yourself is really seeing the whole self, seeing yourself, the good, the bad, the ugly, the magnificence, the beautiful, because they're all there, and actually really feeling your way through it. Because when you're not feeling your way through everything, it keeps coming back and you keep hitting that same wall where you can't manifest past. And it won't matter how many people you go and see, how many people you go and work with. If you've got a wall there and you're not working through it, allowing yourself that connection to yourself and seeing the truth of all those things, you don't get past that point. You'll just keep coming to that point all the time. You'll keep going a little bit further, but you'll always keep coming back and keep coming back, because as our patterns, that's where we're most comfortable. So it's when we're self-connecting, connection is about getting into the uncomfortable and feeling everything and allowing yourself to see the beautiful messages that are there to actually guide you. and show you in which way you go. So for me this year, I've started on it already for myself, and before coming on here, it was if I'm connected to everything, then I am the source of everything. So and that is, to me, that was like boom, that is so profound. But then I've got to see the whole being of myself, and seeing every part of myself, where that is in my body, where that is on the outside of myself, because I'm reflecting myself everywhere. My body's telling me, outside is telling me. So if I'm the source, I've got to feel and see what's going on within me. So yeah.
Well, thanks so much. And so for me, the foundation is one is that we can't build up until we actually get rooted down. So if we don't get grounded, we don't get connected. And so like using a lot of the same words that you guys have actually been talking about. So Anick talking about the pillars and having like that part of the foundation, and Fanny was talking about awareness and body and intuition. And again, those are the parts of the foundation. And Hanya was saying about being able to pray loudly. So like if you don't ask for the support or the help, it's not going to come. And because we all have free will, and if we don't ask, they don't interfere. And then Denise was talking about that connection and being able to have that. And so one of the things that I want to be able to remind people is that we can't build things up if we don't root things down. So if we don't find those connections, we don't have that base foundation, we're not going to be able to move up to where it is that we hope that we're going to be able to move up to. So so one of the things that is, so like when we're looking at an astrological, so like when we're talking about the moon and the cycles and things like that. So right now we are in the first quarter moon energy in Taurus, and so this is where we actually get to take practical action. So like as we get this year started, we're talking about being able to have that, building that foundation and being able to have those next steps of what it is that we're going to be doing. And the other thing that is happening is astrologically is that Neptune is entering Aries, which is actually bringing in that spiritual courage. So that spiritual courage actually begins. And so this is the beginning of a 165-year shift. So it has not moved into Aries for 165 days. This is one of, Neptune doesn't move very quickly, very fast. And so this is, so this 165-year shift is our time to share ancient wisdom boldly. And so when I talk about ancient wisdom, it's like this is my entire theme for everything that I do. So this circle, as well as working with my clients, is about being able to really tap into that ancient wisdom. And so going back to those foundations that we just talked about. And so now the question that I have around this is around what ancestral practice helps women the most. And so so Anick, do you want to start with that one? So what is spirit telling you? Do you understand the question? But so what ancestral practice helps women the most? So like in what you do and your foundations, what is it that helps the most?
Wow, that's a big question. What helps the most? There's a lot of things that I can, a lot of tools can help, a lot of but anyway, what the truth is, unconditional love. What a person needs, what a human needs, is to be able to be whole, seen, to give themselves permission to be witnessed in any kind of shadowy or and any emotions, any situations, and be accepted in that, if that makes any sense. It's the unconditional love piece that is the masterpiece. Ancient wisdom, yeah, I mean, it is the safety, and it's not trying to fix anything. It's just pure acceptance of everything that's moving through a human being, at the core. It's like a little baby. If you stop the little baby crying, like when they start to walk, a little child, they start to walk, they fall. I think there's some statistics, they fall like over 350 times, and you let them fall and they get up again and they continue, and you just let them with unconditional love, like be and discover and self-discovering themselves. So that's the thing. With my work, obviously, it's voice somatically, with unconditional love, unconditional voice. I was about to say unconditional love. It's somatically allowing your voice go hey and ah and whoa, allowing your voice to express whatever needs to be expressed, and channeling that energy to express and communicate clearly your vision, your desires, in your sales, in what you're actually offering, sharing, with transparency and with clarity when you're actually gonna, sell a product, a service to your client. So you know what I mean? Like ancient wisdom, yes, sound and primal sound, and very important to create some space within, and then moving that energy when the space, when you're clear, communicating sharply, authentically, clearly what you're offering, and your medicine, your message, your magic. Communicate that.
Beautiful. I love that, Annie.
Me too. I
And
love it. So good. So good.
what about you, Fanny?
Yeah, ancient wisdom. The thing that comes up for me is the body's wisdom. It's as ancient as being a human. And I similarly, the thing that I find the most, like, what was the question? Supportive to women, helps women the most.
So it's about being able to, how does ancient ancestral practice help women the most?
Yeah.
So body wisdom is definitely within there, right? So
yeah, it's body's wisdom. And I find it very interesting because we're so disconnected from the naturalness of our bodies as women, as humans, as whatever. And there's so many things that I see fall into place when I guide people into embodying their natural bodies, exploring their natural movements, which includes sounding. I'm with Anick on this one. It's not so much vocalization what I do with people, but like giving permission, giving practice of like just sounding, which is an ancestral practice of your body. Like when you're really sick, you groan. That is a physiological function of your body creating a vibration to support your immune system and ramping up, but it's like there's so much repression in us that we stifle and stop these very natural expressions that want to move through our bodies. And it's astonishing now how much like unwinding it takes for people to just arrive at the experience of what their natural body is and what it wants to communicate. So that's at least my most expertise is in that, certainly.
I love that. And so like before we move on to anyone else, is that we have because as you can see there's a crib behind me, we have a little one that has been staying with us since November. And even though she's had failure to thrive, she's still been able to communicate. She's still been able to use that body wisdom of being able to find the sounds to be able to communicate when she's happy, when she's not, when she's all these different things. And so she's now starting to vocalize. And so when you were talking about that inherent voice that we have within us, Fanny, it's like it comes right down to like when the baby comes out of the womb, basically, is that and we've all come out of the womb and we've all come into that. And so those vocalizing sounds are those things, and then takes it back to what Anick was saying about like the high voices and the low voices and the grown voices and like all those different things really comes into that. And so I just wanted to share that because I just thought that that was like perfect and beautiful in terms of how you and Anick brought that together in terms of like development from the time that we were infants. And so I love that. So thank you so much. Hanya, what about you?
If you just give me a minute, my laptop is about to run out of battery. I just gotta put in the plug. Okay, so
Okay, well,
for
we'll
ancient
just
wisdom. Okay, now. Okay, yes.
okay.
So, in the way of ancestrally ancient wisdom, due to what I know, the way how I've been about it is it's it's through number of like remedies, like for example healing remedies for when you're sick, and even sometimes let's say some of the exercises that you do sometimes they come up, they have like let's just say a certain way to, because I had an accident like long time ago. So with me, how I actually got better was through ancient wisdom, through healing techniques, through natural remedies like using turmeric or different kind of teas, and then also you have to use your willpower in there too. So it's like it's also body language as we discussed earlier. That's gonna bring in the healing process through ancient wisdom, which could be in different ways. It's not just only prayer, but you have to also do the work too. It's the kind of eating that you're doing, the kind of work that you're doing. It's different things.
Beautiful. Thanks so much, Hanya. Denise, what about you?
For me, it's like I suppose because I'm a Maori background, and I actually don't. I was taken away from that culture when I was very young, and my parents, my mum moved to Tasmania, so I went from New Zealand to Tasmania, and so I didn't grow up in that culture, but I believe it stays with you in many ways, and it's like I've had like I always see the tribe behind me. I always see that the tribe has my back. I always see that side of things. But ancient wisdom is like, because we tend to take on what our last generation has given us. So we think that's the things we're supposed to do. But when you talk about, and that's ancient wisdom because that's what they've learnt from theirs, and they've learnt from theirs, and they've learnt from theirs. Hence, why we're in the state we're in sometimes is because that's what we believe we have to do. So for me, ancient wisdom is great on the medicinals. I love the medicinals because that's what I do a lot of. And I grow a lot of herbs and I make up tinctures and I do all that sort of stuff. But it's ancient wisdom is not always true. It depends on what road or what rabbit hole you go down. So it's allowing that intuition to really come in for yourself to be able to navigate. And that's the self-connection coming back again. And I love Anick, how you said unconditional love, because it is unconditional love of yourself to see that path unwind and allow yourself to go down it, and actually recognizing whether it's good or bad for you or whether it's taking you where you want to go. And a lot of stuff comes into that am I doing this because of somebody else, or am I doing this because this is my path? Because this is this. And ancient wisdom, there's so much out there. And to me, it's the simplicity of it. If it's hard, it's well, this is what I think. If it's challenging the whole way through, which is good on some sense, but it's also, when you look at Buddhas, the simplicity of how they lived, the simplicity of just knowing and following, that's what they did. They didn't have a lot of words. They just went with their intuition and spoke the wisdom that came through. And it's about allowing yourself. We don't have to speak a lot of words. It's just what your inners are saying. Because when we speak out, it can be crumpled down to not mean anything where it means so much to me. So it's allowing yourself to hear you, because we have all that wisdom, ancient wisdom within us. We have had it right from the go. We've had it from birth. We've had it before. It's come through with us. We've just lost it along the way. So we do know it. It's just going back and finding it, or being open to receive it all back for yourself. So yeah, and it's great that we have, internet and everything like that, because that gives us a doorway, a gateway into really going down those rabbit holes and experiencing different things to really find that path. So it's beautiful. And people like here as well, working with people like us and seeing if that's what we need, or what is, no, that's not what I need right now. So we go down a different path, so it's such a journey of discovering who you are through the wisdom of yourself and also the ancient wisdom of many.
I love that so much, Denise, because that really takes us into one of the things that I say all the time is take what you need and leave the rest. So as anybody is listening today, there's going to be like, oh, I can resonate really strongly with this one piece of something that Anick said, but not quite where this one piece fits. And it's like, and that's okay. So then you take this little piece, but then it's like, oh, I really love what Denise just said. So I can add that little piece to this piece, and then make it so that it's actually our own, and like just building from those experiences and what fits and what doesn't fit for our own beliefs in where we are right now, right? So like that's the biggest part, is where we are right now. And the other thing that you said, Denise, was about the how difficult something is. And so if something has to be so difficult that it is difficult for you to like trudge through, then is it really something that needs to be part of what it is? A little bit of a challenge, like you said, a little bit of a challenge, because we do want to challenge ourselves to like kind of go outside of our box, go outside of our comfort zone. But if it is to the point where we can't do it without like, it's just completely heavy and it feels like we're like carrying around those chains and balls and chains, it's like, how is that going to help us kind of move ahead to what it is that we were doing? And so for me, around the ancestral wisdom is about being able to work with the cycles and not against them. So Fanny actually made reference to our bodies and listening to our bodies and listening to some of the things that we have going on, is that as women, we all have cycles, whatever it is that cycle looks like. So for some of us, we're no longer in the cycling system, but we still have a cycle regardless, right? So like we no longer have our own moon cycle. We no longer have, but we did at some point. And so we do, as into that aging part of our cycles, and because it is still part of our cycles and still part of what it is that we have going on. And so for those who are still in childbearing years, then they have those cycles and they have those things that are actually happening. And one of the things with having a new little one in our lives that we are caring for 24/7, one of the things that we have reminded ourselves is at 55, there's a reason why we do not have babies. Waking up in the middle of the night, that's for like the younger people, right? So, but it's just about those cycles and being able to connect with those different things, of being able to have us moving ahead. Hanya, you wanted to share?
Yeah, there's an ancestral wisdom saying that if all the stuff around you goes towards something that you really, really want in the universe, you actually get it. So I think that's a very ancient wisdom quotation. I don't know who said this, but it's been in a lot of different references. But it's true. If you aim for something really, really hard, the universe makes sure you gets it. And it's happened with me. Like about a few times, and it's just like how you believe in the process, and you go through everything just to get that one goal or that one thing that you need. So that's all that I have to add.
Yeah, it's really important. So so Fanny, one of the things is that you were nodding like profusely. So what did you want to add to that? Because I feel that there's something else that you wanted to kind of share in that part of the conversation.
I did. Well, first I was going to say, waking up in the middle of the night all night is not for anybody, except for babies. Whoever said I sleep like a baby, like it's a good kind of sleep, was out of their minds. But when you guys are talking about like discomfort or challenge, so this is what I do, is it's the body also teaches us about this, because there's distress, which will cause your body to degrade. And then there's eustress, which is how you actually like gain muscle mass and all of these things. And so stress is required. A certain level of stress, challenge, tension, we'll say, is required to create, to heal, to move forward in our lives. But when it's taken too far, that becomes distress, which then actually is a hindrance to your development, your expansion, your healing, or whatever. And that's why I think the body is such a cool thing to use as the educational tool for creativity and healing and, you know, the journey, is because literally the more you know about how the body actually works, it's a literal roadmap for creativity. And I love it so much, but that's what I wanted to share, is about eustress and distress. So
Beautiful. I love that. So, does anybody else have anything else that they wanted to share around these points that we were just talking about?
Just very briefly, I guess, yeah, ancient wisdom is like also to me really deeply as I listen to everyone. I just want to add this. I think Denise mentioned it without saying the word, but it's the deep, knowing, the intuition, like the intuitive. That's the ancient wisdom. It's like no one's going to teach you that. It's an experience that it's through our own experience that we learn to discern, and we learn how our intuition is talking to us. And Fanny said, the body wisdom, often intuition can comes in a feeling. Like for me, when I receive a divine truth, like it's a non-negotiable divine truth, it's purely divine truth. I get shivers on my arms, my legs, my spine, like shivers, like my skin is, you see all these bubbles and things. And that's clarity right there. God speaking through me, non-negotiable. So to me, that's really a raw ancient wisdom. Intuition, body wisdom, like it's an however we want to name it. When I was talking about unconditional love, I suppose it's ancient wisdom through holding space for the human to unfold and be in their power. That's what I meant by that. But yeah, as the conversation moves along, little pieces are dropping, and I think this is a crucial, intuition. Intuition is everything, like intuitive guidance. Yeah.
Beautiful. Thanks, Anick. Denise, did you have anything more to add around this piece of the conversation?
Yeah, I'd love, you said it so beautifully, Anik. Thank you. It's just coming back and yourself, remembering. You've got to, it's all about remembering who I am, why I am, how I am, what everything tastes like for me, what everything feels like for me. I don't have to use someone else's, knowledge of the taste of the orange. I can taste it. And I will explain it differently to somebody else, and that's okay. Everything I touch, everything I feel is okay the way the way I see it, the way I talk about it, the way I, am open to feel about it. So, that's the ancient, is just feeling everything and that self-expression unconditionally. Doesn't matter what anybody else thinks, because that's what hinges us, is we think that it matters if we express ourselves too much this way or too little that way. It's going to impact somebody else, but no, it actually impacts ourselves. So it's about that full. It is such the unconditional, that full love, that full expression, that full feeling, everything, because I am everything. I'm a part of everything. I heard somewhere, I'm a fractal of everything. I am the source of everything. If I'm connected with myself, I'm the source. I am the source. So to feel into that is so big, but it's such a discovery. What an exciting discovery to go on for yourself, to see yourself in that light. Yeah.
It really is. And And so, Hanya, I'm going to come back to you in a second, but just because we're just kind of getting into getting close to time, I do like, if we have some time, I'd like to be able to come back to your point that you want to be able to make, because now the question that I have is based on these conversations, based on the things that we've actually had coming forward, is for those who are listening, that they're like, oh, these ladies have their lives together, they know all this stuff, and they have all these things going. What do you have to say to somebody who says that? So, Denise, I'm going to start with you because you're like shaking your head no. So let's start with you. So
It's a
for those who
roller
are like, I don't know.
coaster. It's, life is life. As I'm discovering one thing, I'm uncovering another thing, and it's not this happy feel. I'm going through it. So, you watch a child. Children are so beautiful to watch. You watch a child, see them get frustrated. What do? They cry. And they stamp their feet and they throw themselves on the ground because they're frustrated, but they'll come back and they'll try again, and they'll come back and try again, and they'll come back and try again. People used to worry about sin. Sin is the true meaning of sin is you missed the mark. So if I miss the mark, I always explain it's like shooting an arrow into the board to hit the bullseye. If I miss it, what do? Do I give up? No, I try again. So it's about allowing ourselves to keep getting up and keep trying. I've had days where I just want to be in bed because I can't get past what's happening within me. But what I do know is I need that space and time, and then I'll get up and I'll do. And that's what we need to allow for ourselves, that space and time. So no, don't think it's a happy, because as you unveil parts of yourself, there's that push and pull of the choice. Do I stay or do I shift? Do I stay or do I shift? So, there's that part. So you're always engaging in yourself, and sometimes you feel crazy because it's like all these things are tumbling, and I've got to maneuver myself through it. And everyone's telling me how you shouldn't be doing that, but this is what I know I should be doing. So, that it's like, it's not the world is against me, it's just that I'm trying to find the truth, or I'm working on finding and discovering myself. So there's going to be parts of me that go, oh, I don't really want to be doing that anymore. And the choices that I make, I always used to say this to my kids, the choices you make will dictate the end of your days. Doesn't matter whether it's today, doesn't matter if it's next week or next year, it will dictate. And I always used to say, choose wisely. I never told them what they should choose, but I say, you choose wisely. What's good for you? Yeah.
I love that, Denise. So Hanya, what about you? So what would you say? So when people are looking at us saying, oh, like these ladies got it all together, they've got it figured out, what would you say?
I would say not everything is all figured out. With me, there's a lot of stuff I still need to work on. It's just whatever is like written for you, or like you get it, but not all the time you get every single thing. If it was that perfect, I'd get every single application I ever applied to for a program. But that didn't happen. I got rejected at least 50 times before I got accepted into something else. So that's my experience. Not everything is so perfect. No, there's some stuff that you get, some stuff you don't. There's some things even in your personal life that you want that you don't get it, but you get a redirection. If in both in personal and professional life, you get redirection, and there's a lot of examples of that. So not everything everyone has, but it's just like how much, like how much you pray, how much you go with ancient wisdom, and how that applies to you.
Beautiful. I love that. Anick, what about you?
Yeah, this is a great question because, yeah, I mean, no one has their shit together. I mean, Look, it's we all here to learn. We all here to learn and teach and learn and teach and teach and learn. I suppose women like us on a panel, on a podcast, sharing our voice, sharing our wisdom, sharing our messages, is we're doing the work. That's the difference of, like evolution. Transformation will happen when you show up, when you do the inner work, when so we have made a commitment to run a business that is in alignment, sharing our messages, sharing our magic, sharing our medicine, sharing our voices. And so it means we have to show up for ourselves and do the inner work, and to grow and expand and grow and expand, and the next step and the next inspired actions and the next choice to grow and expand. And we were born with a gift, and we have the courage to share it. And everyone has that opportunity to be alive and to make choices that are connected to their soul, connected to their heart, and to do the inner work. And what I mean by inner work is actually to grow, to become that authentic self, that true self, to become your the person, the woman you were born to be, that badass, that sovereign woman, that fully expressed woman or man, that human being in your grace, in your power, in your joy, in alignment. That's what we're doing here on earth. We evolving, growing, and expressing ourselves, creating. We're creators. We're constantly creating. And I think Denise was talking about the blockages. We're also creators of habits. Like we are what we do every day, like what we think, what we do every day. So if you don't get the outcome, the result that you truly desire, you got to shift. You got to shift the energy. You got to shift your thinking pattern. You've got to shift your, that habit that you have that doesn't serve you. You got to shift. And that's what we're here for, to help people shift and evolve and grow and have a juicy life.
Beautiful.
So,
Thanks so much, Anick.
yeah, you're welcome.
Fanny, what about you?
Yes, I would say that you will never be free of your fears or your ego, or there will never be the perfect scenario to step forward into who you are, but that you always have the choice to. And to know that you carry your shadow with you, especially if you are shining light. And so it's your choice, gain the awareness so that you can choose who you are. But you're never not going to be faced with the paralyzing terror of what it might be if you expose yourself. But it becomes, less serious the more often you do it. Oh, I didn't die. Thought I would. Turned out I'm fine. But that'll go on forever. So just start now. Just begin. Yeah.
And I love that. And so so as we're waiting for Sophia to come back on, one of the things that I wanted to share, and a point that I wanted to come back to, is that somebody on the panel today, or on the in our circle today, shared that like it's like taking, like when we start to walk, like we fall down, like statistics say, like 300 and some times or whatever it was before we actually start walking. And so that is our lives. And so Anick was talking about like taking those choices and stepping into who we are authentically. And as we age, who we become authentically changes and shifts. And so it's just that reminder of where it is that we need to be going. So I'm watching my granddaughter, who is nearly 9 months, who today, for the first time, her other grandmother was here, and so she actually walked between her other grandmother, and I today. That it was like she took 2 steps. And so mom was upstairs, dad was upstairs, and it was like, but we actually got to see and we got to be blessed with those 2 steps of being able to have that. And but she's fallen, and she just keeps getting back up again. She just keeps going, and she's going to be walking within a number of like weeks at the very most, right? So it's just those steps. And so when we feel like we're completely overwhelmed, that there's too many things that are going on, as Fanny was saying, it's like, just take one step. Like, we just need to take that one step. And if we fall, stand back up, because we didn't die. When we fell, we didn't die, right?
And
So just that reminder of being able to listen to that wisdom within us. There's lots of conversations about our intuition and being able to tap into that.
yes,
And so, yeah, so just don't forget that is all within us. And those steps, we can give up and we can just stay stuck in the corner wherever it is that we've decided to plunk ourselves, or we can get up, take the next step, take the
okay.
next step, and take the next step.
And
So, Sophia, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Rollie, and thank you ever so much. This has been a wonderful conversation. I've been sitting in the background. There has been a lot of wisdom. I just want to acknowledge that everyone here, and we are at the end of our hour, and I know you, Anick, have to leave. So Anick, thank you. Denise, Fanny, and Hanya, thank you ever so much for sharing your wisdom in Ancient Wisdom Rising, a wonderful topic that Rollie has shared with us today. And you will be back, Rollie, in a month for the next part of Ancient Wisdom Rising, Moon Medicine for Modern Hearts. I'm looking forward to that so very much. Hopefully everyone else will be able to join us again. And for anyone out there who is watching or listening, whether it's a live or the replay, do click on these links below, reach out to these amazing women. And while you're there, come and join us at sacredyou.love. Come and join us for free in the village. There is so much on offer. And at that rate, I'm going to say again, thank you. It has been a pleasure. Thank you ever, ever so much.